All right, welcome back. Today is 11/27/2016, and we're Popo Community for Justice. I'm Apostle Cecil Hatchett, and today we have our brother King J here today, back again this week with us, and he has a lot of very important information to get out to you wonderful people out there in TV land. And I'll have Brother Ron come out here and speak regarding his electric wheelchair that the people didn't put the effort forward to help him to get one. And when you're 77 years old, you think people would care about your health and condition. He explained about his health and condition, but people kind of ignored it. I don't know if it's because he's on Popo Community for Justice or just because he wasn't as forceful as most people are when they're trying to get something done. They go through hell and high water. He's got a very laid back, honest to God spirit, and God Almighty loves him and trusts him. And so he went out and got his own wheelchair because people wouldn't help him get one, kept giving him a runaround, and he'll speak on that very briefly. So again, I'm Apostle Cecil Hatchett. We're Popo Community for Justice, Inc., and we have Brother King J here, and without further ado, I'm going to let Brother King J start off talking, and then I'll get Brother Ron to come out here, and then you can let him communicate what he wants to communicate to all you people out there in TV land. God Almighty love you. I love you too. Stay strong, stay blessed. Trust God Almighty. Trust your blessed instincts. Do what's right and continue to move forward and onward in everything in your life. And if you are trying to change your lifestyle, then do that for the better, because that's what life is all about. You're here until you die. You don't know when your last day will be. Don't rush it. It'll be, okay? So without any further ado, I'm going to step out of here and onward. So go ahead, Brother King J. I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you too.
Okay.
I appreciate the opportunity to be
and
back.
We'll have Brother Ron here in just a moment. Go ahead, King J.
Yes. Good afternoon, folks out there in TV land. First and foremost, as usual, let me give honor to God for waking me up this morning and getting me down here safely. I said it before, religion's in our family, and first and foremost, thank God for waking you up. My grandfather's a Baptist preacher, so if I don't do that, it's almost like no respect. And also I want to send a shout out to the president, First Family, send a shout out to the brothers and sisters in the nation, Assalamu alaikum. Send a shout out to those of you who are really, should I say, bewildered and feeling down. I'm glad to be here today, and thank you to the Apostle Cecil and Popo Community Needs for Justice for having me back. It's a lot that I got to cover today, and hopefully I'll get to it. I can't do it in an hour. But anyway, I know that the Thanksgiving has just went by, and I'm going to start right there. Number one, I mean, it's nice for families to get together, let me say. And I'm glad that people did do that. We have to understand the significance of the holidays, how we fit into them. Black people were slaves then, and me personally, when I was younger, yes. But now that I'm older and I'm a little wiser, I really don't celebrate the Thanksgiving. So I have to say that in terms of me being honest with what I'm saying to you this morning too. And then we got the Black Friday things coming up and people rushing somewhere with their money and doing all this stuff that they're doing. That's why I'm here from the Justice Committee. I should have said that too, for all the people who are really calling about the Justice Committee and want to support the Justice Committee. Still keep interest in the Justice Committee, because we got to have a voice somewhere. Coming on this show gives me that opportunity to say something that's positive, that's going to help us as a people. So everybody running, spending their money, no, I sent out a nationwide boycott back during the shootings of not just Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Earl Garner, Sandra Bland, so many I can't even Kendra James here in Portland, Oregon, let me say. I sent out a nationwide boycott. Do not spend your money unless you absolutely have to for something that you absolutely need to get. And apparently people who look like me basically, aren't really listening. So they're running to all the malls and everywhere. So that's just another way for them to keep you under control, keep you broke. I got to throw that in. And that's fine. You earn your money, you can buy what you want to buy with it. Ask yourself, do I really need this? And that's what it's all about. It comes down to an economical thing. And even with the property thing that I'm going through, that I've been through, that other people are going through, it's the same thing. land grab. Once they got you down to where they think they could really manipulate you, then that's what they start to do. I started off over here with this picture of my grandmother on the prompter, but I'm going to put this on the prompter because this has something to do with the funds now too. And I said I was going to show this when I was on here the week before, and it was down in the bag and all this stuff, but I'm going to show it now because it's important that you hear this too. This is a property tax statement and a assessment of land, if the prompter can get it up right quick, and if not, they'll get to it. But I wanted them to see that what the land was really worth compared to what the fines was worth. That's what this paper here reflects. So it just goes to show how the system works to should I say, possess your land and your assets. And right now, Brother Ron is here too. He wants to say a few things. I can come back to this. So he has to be back there doing some technical stuff. So here he is. Okay.
Hi.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I was a smoker for many years, and I now have COPD. And in 1912, I was operated on for lung cancer, and they took out a piece of my lung. So that left me really starving for breath. I can walk about a half a block down the street, and I'm almost ready to pass out. So I tried through Medicare to get a motorized wheelchair. Well, Medicare won't let you have one. No. If you lose your legs, they'll let you have one. But for something like a shortness of breath, no, they won't. And I've been arguing with them, and every time I go to one of these wheelchair providers, they say the same thing. No, we're not going to let you have one. Not going to let you have one. No way. So finally, I went out to Providence Medical Supply. Now, they're on Northeast Halsey at 6410 Northeast Halsey. And I walked in and I saw this wheelchair. Actually, it's a motorized scooter is what it is. And I purchased that for about $900. And it has made a big difference in my life because now I know that I can get out of my apartment, I can get to the grocery store and back and everything. It has given me a mobility and a way to get places that I never had before. So it's almost like giving me my life back is what it's done. And I'm really so glad to have this thing. It's I got tired of arguing with those people, and then when I saw this for $900, I said, I'm going in debt for it. I need it. I want it. And so that's about the complete story, so to speak, on this. And I'm just real happy to have this because now I know that I won't become a shut-in, that I can get out and do things with this device. And I'm just going to leave it here, and you kind of, it'll be on the program. So I'll just walk back into the studio. But I just wanted you to know that if you have problems like this, go on out to the Providence Medical Supply. They're 6410 Northeast Halsey, and ask them about a chair like this. And it's, I'm so grateful to have it.
I know you
I'm so grateful to have it. And that's just about all I have to say, so I'll let you have the program back.
Well, that's fine. I appreciate you saying that to the people, and I know the frustration that you went through in terms of all the time that you was without it, too. So that's the thing.
Yes, you'd think they changed the law so that the person with a shortness of breath or something could get one. No, they won't do it. They just say, no. If you can walk, forget it.
Right.
And they don't care. If you can walk 5 feet, they don't care. So that's the way that goes.
That's interesting.
But I finally have got it, and it's just made a whole difference in my life, actually.
Thank you for coming on saying that.
Right,
Thank you for coming on.
All right, and I'll just go ahead and put this
And let me say this too, not to get off the subject of the land thing, but this is a justice issue too. It doesn't just have to be somebody raising their hand and yelling and stuff. Like some people see, and that's just when the system takes advantage of you. So we need people to come along who have that kind of knowledge to help, and even to have avenue where people can get those services to get something like this. Some people don't even know that either. So that's good he came on and said that. But we need people who are in that particular industry or that field to try to help people who are having trouble getting stuff like this. So that is a justice issue no matter how you look at it. It's got to be equal. That's what. And you shouldn't have to not have no legs before you can get one either. I don't know what that is. But okay, back to the monitor. If they can put me up on the teleprompter here. I wanted to show what the land was worth. Listen, go spend your money, do what you want to do. End up broke, you have no power. No money, no power. You ever hear that saying, no justice, no peace, no money, no power? That's really what's happening. So that's what this is. Here it is on the teleprompter. I just wanted to show up just for a quick second. This here showed that the land was worth, what was that? The real value of the land was $10,300. This was in 96 and 97. Real market value right there. And then this year it said 18,400. Well, see, when I came on here before, I was telling you that there was fines and fees that had escalated over $80,000. That's a big leap from what the real market value of the land is in terms of fines and fees. So what does that sound like? A way to steal it through the computer, through the fine and assessment people. That's another thing. People coming out assessing stuff. Who's to say how much something really is worth? Where do they get the skills and knowledge? I've been questioning all this stuff in my mind as I've been thinking about everything that's happened. And here they come, either raising your land value or taking it down. I don't know what school they go to acquire these kind of skills. All this is a Justice Committee issue, if you ask me. And people just take it for granted. Oh, hey, my home is worth, say, $500,000, let's say. Well, number one, good luck in selling it for that, let me tell you. See? But as they mention that to you in your home, then that goes along with your taxes, too, of what your value is. I didn't come here to do all this here mathematical stuff with you today. I think you'll be able to figure it out. That's why I just bought this. I said I was going to show it last time, and I didn't. But listen, anything I tell you is good. I'm going to tell you that. And the same with this here poster with William Harney here, that we had trouble getting the light on it. I said I was bringing the colored poster today, and I bought it. This is the real deal. The other was a copy. It was black and white. They both was laminated. But this is the real deal right here. This is the color one. To tell you the truth, I believe it's only one left in the world. Now, a gentleman has a collection of these, but this one is not in there. And the Oregon Black Museum's proud to have this too. Let me tell you that. And anything else that we want to try to keep. That's why I'm saying this about the property. Listen, when this raid, or what do they call it, warrant, here it is right here. When this warrant came to my property, they took everything that was Oregon Black Museum worthy, and things that was just like one item of something left, and something in good shape, signed by the judge again. No, signed by the judge's clerk, excuse me, again. All this here is foolishness that they did. And like I said, fines and fees worth way more than what the property's worth. Let me put the judge's clerk signature up there again, where the judge should have signed it, since I have it with me again today. Listen, it's so much going on, and see, that's the thing. I'm not skipping off my notes or skipping into my notes, however I'm doing this. We need people who have some expertise that will help with these issues. That's what I'm here for, and if I got to come here every week to say that, that's what I got to do. Because a lot of us, especially with the new administration coming into effect, I'm going to jump right to that right now. We've got to be prepared. And a lot of us, we're losing things all the time. That's why I said about your Black Friday money. You just went and lost that too, a lot of you. So that's okay. Maybe that's what you want to do. It doesn't matter to me. But we as a people, we've got to have some stability. Like I said, we got to recognize what the holidays mean to us in significance, how we fit into them, just how they affect us, the whole 9 yards. Not just Thanksgiving, all the holidays, every last one of them. Every time you turn around, you see a sale or come here, get this, do that. It's a number of different things that people are brainwashed into doing. That's why I got this sign right here, and I don't think it's up on the prompter. I think we got a blank screen here. I don't know why that is, but anyway, yeah, that's why I got this sign here right behind me here that says "Stop Brainwashing." That's what it says, and I'll probably point to it again since now we're back up on the screen. But anyway, listen. No money, no power. Said that before, okay? All this other stuff with this land grab stuff and all this stuff with the computer, all this stuff that you're doing, that you think you're doing, don't think that I don't know it, because I do. I'm here to let other people know it. And if you got questions about it, that's why they'll put my number up on the screen. Call me on the phone, and not now, but call me on the phone. Maybe we could talk extensively about that. Maybe we could find people who will help. People who may be listening to this, if you could help, like I said, volunteer your time. That brings me to another segment of this here program, which I got in my notes here, that people need to try to form some type of coalition that would service the community and help them through their issues. That means, especially if you're a entrepreneur of some kind, and maybe you can contribute some money, or maybe you have some knowledge of some things that will fit in and help. I don't know exactly what people need to really do. I'm not telling you what you need to do, because that's what they're trying to tell me. But what I do know is that we as a people got to have some type of structure and strategy to deal with everything that's going to happen under this new administration. Everything. Now, what happened a long time ago, and that's why I got this poster here too, because that was Civil War type stuff with William Harney. And listen, Jim Crow scared a lot of black people, and it still does scare a lot of black people. And that's been years ago, okay? And that's what's fixing to happen with this administration coming up. Because the other day, I just happened to have the news on, and I see some whites standing with their hands up like, "Hail Trump," instead of Hitler. And I know everybody else has seen it too. Don't act like, listen, you're the one that's delusional, not me. I'm going to use that word. That came from some of my cabinet members, not to mention no names. But that's true. You must be delusional. If you think that people are going to just take this, and as we see it from the protests, they come in all colors. So they're not just going to take this lying down. And as far as this Gestapo stuff and Hail Trump and stuff and all this stuff, that's just instigating issues instead of making things better for the country. So listen, a lot of us have said, okay, he's got 4 years, let's see. And I think that that's important that we do that. But here again, if it's going to be that type of behavior, it's not going to help matters none, okay? Now, another thing I'm going to say too is that we must have some type of protection from this law and order tactic. That's really not going to work. In Germany, it was the Gestapo. And then down south, it was the Jim Crow. And this is a power trip, and it's got to be stopped. I don't claim to have the answers to everything, but I know my God does. So that's all I can say to that. And maybe I do have a few other ones that will come up later on. But all this foolishness, really, people aren't going to have it. That's just what it is, foolishness. And the true definition of life is to be fruitful and multiply, and to do unto others as you have them do unto you. Love ye one another as I have loved you. So many more expressions and sayings, things that you should practice all the time. And we only have so much time on this earth, and you got to know what your purpose is. You got to know why you're here. You got to know something, and it not just you, your family, your children, all this is trickling all the way down. Now, I can't tell you how to live your lives. Like I said, you're going to Black Friday, giving them your money and just being without. That's you. But you got to know life is more than just catching the sales. You got to know that there's a purpose somewhere for you. And you got to figure that out before it's too late. None of us don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. And I don't know if I'm going to be here next week or tomorrow. But that's what I'm telling you. So anyway, like I said, I called for the nationwide boycott before Ron came on. And I still mean that. Don't spend your money unless you absolutely have to. This is coming out of Portland, Oregon, right here, from Poor Folk Community Needs for Justice, from the Justice Committee, and I'm King J. So I want you to know that's what we have to do. Economically, that's going to hurt the country, maybe so, but all this laying in the street, all this here damaging cars and all this foolishness, listen, I don't think that's getting anything solved. It's making matters worse. And like I said, I work at the hospital. People need to get there for emergency, even life-saving procedures. All this stuff, it doesn't add up to nothing if you ask me. So I bought this book last week. I'll jump to it again right quick since I'm showing it. This here is the constitutional law book right here. In here, this is exactly what it says. Presidential power to remove subordinates. See, can do that. But also here, impeaching the president and other problems. This is on page 425 of the constitutional law book right here. Separation of powers. Like I said, it's a power trip. A lot of you need to hit the books before you go start laying in the streets and all this other stuff. Listen, no time to read you all that stuff now. It doesn't really matter. The fact is, you can go to any library and probably get it, or just go to somewhere. I don't know where. But anyway, constitutional law book, cases and materials, 10th edition. Gerald Gunther. There it is. Now, see, all that talking, and all that stuff people doing, do some reading, and this is what the Bible says. Don't get me to make, people always think I'm making stuff as I go along. No, I don't. No way. Listen, in all you're getting, get understanding. That's in the Bible. You see? So maybe you need to be reading that too. How about that? So listen, I know we all have different lives. We're cut from a different fabric. We're this, we're that. There's a lot of things that we are and a lot of things that we aren't. If we're going to make it through these next 4 years, we got to be prepared. And that's why I came on this show today, is to tell you some things that I know will help you, and at least you'll have some heads up about it. That's really one of the main things. Let me say this too now. I'm just kind of rolling right on past all this stuff, but let me put that there, but we don't want to mix up that. Now, I'm going to put my grandmother up on this here prompter right quick, because if it wouldn't be for her, I wouldn't be here. See, this is my father's mother. And I had her up here before with the with Oregon Black Museum, but I felt it was important for me to bring her up here today, because women play a significant role in this whole country. Even Native American women with the squaws carrying papoose and I can go on and on. But I wanted this to get up on the prompters, and as a matter of fact, I have my mother's picture here too. So this is very important for me to continue on with what I'm doing here. If I can get the prompter up on that picture right quick, then I could skip right on down here. And there, this is my father's mother right there. That's her. That's right. Her name is Beulah. So now we know her name, okay? Now, that takes care of that. And this is my mother right there on the prompter. So you see, I come from these two significant women that really, should I say, sacrificed their lives to raise children, just like some of the other women out there have done too. And also, along with this one here, I also have Rosa Parks' picture right here. Well, let me see. I got to turn it this way. That's right. There. There. I think I can get that on there. Let me see. Can I get it? Well, I have Rosa Parks anyway. And, of course, I got Coretta Scott King in here, too. See, significant. That's okay. We see them. That's all that counts. Listen, I just brought this along because, obviously, I take it with me from time to time. And for me to say that women are instrumental and significant to this whole thing in the country is very important, because without them, it is no being fruitful and multiplying. And they deserve all the respect, let me say. I know there's been differences over the years, so I'm not going into all that. That's courts are full of crap with that. But what I do know is that people got to start working a lot closer together, especially where the family structure is concerned. Because if that doesn't happen, then I don't know what to tell you, but most likely it's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be nice. Now, I want to jump to this here. This is what has happened to black people over the years. I bought this shirt. I don't see the prompter's not on. I don't see what it went off, and maybe they don't know that in the technical room. It went off in the technical room. Can you hear me? Yeah. Oh, there you. Yeah. It was off out here. Good. Okay. Well, now we're back. But anyway, things happen. Hey, listen. That we have all the time in the world. That's all I got to say. But anyway, I bought this here shirt. I wear it a few times a year. It says African Holocaust. No, I'm not gonna put it up on the prompter. I'm gonna hold it up right there, and it says right here, over 1 million. No, over 100 million. Excuse me, 100 million innocent, peaceful African men, women, and children, packed like sardines in a slave ship, in slave ship holds, died during the Middle Passage, victims of the white man's unprovoked barbaric aggression. The survivors arrived on the shores of the Americas and the West Indies, only to be sold into inhuman system of chattel slavery. And it says right here in the very bottom, never forget. Well, that caught my eye. This never forget right there. See, that's what it says. Listen, that caught my eye when I was looking at a broadcast about an officer that was shot somewhere, and they had put a couple of some faces up there on the picture. I mean, on the screen on the TV, and I'm thinking, well, you know, this never forget. That's what's on my shirt, and especially from the lives and deaths of the people that was killed in the ships, like I said last week, and we're still gonna try to sue for that too. But I kept thinking, well, where did I never forget? Where did he get that from? Well, they must have got it off this shirt. Because, see, this was here first. And here we go again. Like I'm telling people, I hope you're listening and paying attention. Copying something, plagiarizing, just like, what's her name, Ivanka Trump or whatever her name is, copying Michelle's speech. All this stuff that they're trying to take and use to call it what? Their own. Including what? My land. Are you following me? Listen. That's what they see something, they want it, they take it. You know what? Listen, work for what you get. What? You know, that's the problem. It doesn't mean nothing unless they steal it. But okay, that's why I bought this shirt. Never forget. And we as African Americans now, not just Africans, we're in America. We won't forget. We will not forget. And we can't let our families and children, it'd be nice if that just went away. I saw a lady talking about, oh, they aren't accomplishing nothing. They're not doing this. This is for a protest downtown where they had somebody, James Chassie was killed there. And I guess the Don't Shoot Portland people were there and the Black Lives Matter people. All that blocking street stuff, like I said, I'm not into that. But some lady comes along and she says, oh, they aren't accomplishing nothing. You know what? She's never been in a protest or a rally or a march. All she's done is took her behind to work, came home, went to Macy's and shopped, and that's about it. See? So you got to really be close to something to know how it feels and how it belongs. Listen, I marched and protested years ago. I'm not out there doing that now. If the new generation wants to do that, fine. Let them. We didn't block streets and stuff now. I don't know about all that, that civil disobedience stuff. No. And we still got our point across. So anyway, this is what it says on the shirt too. I don't want to leave this shirt without reading it. The African Holocaust. This has been a long journey, over 400 years. America owes black people an enormous debt. Like I said, reparations. Having refused to atone for the sins of kidnapping and enslaving over 100 million people of African descent, all black people should be considered eligible for reparation because they are direct descendants of slavery. God's justice will not sleep forever. And then here, never again. Not never forget, never again. So that's what I got to show you, and that's why I brought this shirt, not to wear it and try to explain it. But this is the whole point about this too. We're due something that we've never been able to collect on, And this is why I'm saying I can't figure out everything. I'm not acting like that. Even though I had algebra, geometry, and some calculus, and all this other stuff that obviously I'm a chemistry major. But listen, all this stuff that we should be trying to figure out, some things we can't figure out, and I can't figure out why all these people with degrees, whether they're black or white even, let me say, but especially those that look like me, can't seem to get together to try to strategize something that will get this implemented to get our reparations and everything else that we need in this country. Okay. Listen, right now they're trying to shut down the HBCUs. For those of you who don't know, that's historically black colleges and universities. That's what that stands for, HBCU. And they're not trying to fund them, shut them down, nothing. But see, that's so we don't have people who are going to have the knowledge and skills. This is what I know, and other people know it too, I'm sure. Knowledge is power, and we got to teach our kids how to be that effective. Let me just put it like that. All that little silly stuff and somebody looking for Pokemon and all that little stupid stuff. Listen, they want some, boy, don't get me started. But see, they want us to be ignorant and simple and silly. Just like, for instance, not to get off the subject of the group of people, we want them to apply themselves with the knowledge they have to try to get our reparations. But just like in the movie Roots, let me say, the man was beating him so bad because he wouldn't say his name was Toby. And I and some people was having a conversation about this not too long ago. And he hit him so many times, and he kept saying, my name is Kunta Kinte. I'm Kunta, you're Kunta, you're Kunta, you're Kizzy, you're Kizzy. See, you know what? We all are related no matter what. And he want to change our name to something that he wants us to be. No. None of that's happening. See? But that's just it. Some people say, oh, well, he hit me one time and I'd have hollered, Toby. We had to laugh. But maybe so. But see, that's just it. He want to try to transform us into something that they want us to be. We're not supposed to open this law book. We're not supposed to know how to read. Speaking of my mother, she taught people how to make an X. She was just a little girl herself. She taught people how to do that so they could have some kind of identity. She taught people how to read. She taught people how to write. My mother did that. So obviously she had some teaching skills too. And mothers usually are the first teachers. So whether it was a classroom teacher or just teaching you to drink out of a sippy cup, that's what I'm telling you. Women are very significant in this whole part of this country. And I know if the new administration isn't very careful, the League of Women Voters, which happen to be in my cabinet, and plus all my TBN partners, plus my AARP people. I didn't want to sit here and bring out a laundry list because it's only our show, but you will be hearing from them, trust me. So you got to be careful of how you do with females. And my greatest allies, I should say. But anyway, listen, like I said, I don't know everything. I'm not acting like it. I wish we did have a group of people. I have this number here for Johnny Cochran's law firm. I saw it. I miss Johnny Cochran so bad because I know he was always on top of the issues. Now, all the other judges we got on TV and all this stuff, it seemed like they'd be trying to organize and formulate some type of, not a coup, but call it what you like. How about the Justice Committee? To try to get some justice done for us. Because as we know, justice does mean just us. Just us, just us. I'm going to take a minute here too and say, this is what happens when you don't know nothing. Somebody said if you want to hide something from black people, put it in a book. I don't like none of that either. I never have liked that. I don't know what that means, but that's kind of like an insult to us, like we not going to read nothing. Or let me say this. Sometime when I come on this show, I'm going to, my word's good, I'm going to bring some poems and say something to you. Because not only do we know how to read something, we know how to write something too, you see? And I got this sign right here to my left. It says, stop brainwashing. People need to stop brainwashing us. That's what he was doing when he was trying to make him say his name was Toby instead of Kunta. He was trying to brainwash him, and he's going to beat it into him. Right here, stop brainwashing. We got the light on it, I think, maybe. Yeah, there it is right there. See, stop brainwashing. And you're delusional if you think it's going to work on me. Like I said, that came from one of my cabinet members. And not just stop brainwashing, let me turn it over, you see? Stop what? Brainwashing me. It's not going to work. And I'd want people, especially the younger children and the younger people looking at this right now, to say, no, I'm not having it. No, no, no. And right now, just look at what's happening with the high school and the younger people. They are the future, let me say. They have a right to say something. Stop it. Stop it. Leave me alone. No. Electronics, nothing. Hey, I'm not a high-tech person. They ain't acting like it. But they know everything. So they're really stop trying to brainwash them into something. We didn't have a choice kind of coming up, even though we did get a better education than some. But by the same token, it was still some brainwashing that was being done. Now that you're older, you have control over what's going on. That's why I got this. That's why I had these signs created, so people could see them and to give you something to think about. Because every day, just like the Black Friday thing, oh, we better run, get this, get that. You're brainwashed. They only got 2 left. Oh, do they? Well, they can keep them as far as I'm concerned. But see, that's just it. They want your money. They're brainwashing you. Next thing, the thing is tore up in 2 weeks, whatever it is. I don't care if it's a Wii or an iPad or whatever else. I don't know. But I just want to say that. Now, okay, I'm glad to get this out of the prompter too, because not the prompter, but off the screen, because I didn't want to forget that at all. This is another thing that's came up too about us in this country. I watched the president and listen, him and his wife, they're leaving pretty soon. All this stuff is in my notes here, believe me. I could not believe the Medal of Freedom thing. And I've seen that before, it's not new, but I'm thinking, number one, I wrote a poem too, speaking of poems, about freedom. I'll bring it sometime. But in my poem, I said, I wonder, is there such a thing? Apparently, not when it comes to all these people that I was naming: Trayvon Martin, Garner, Michael Brown, Sandra Bland, Kendra James. All these people, apparently there is no freedom. And the list goes on and on. This is only our show. But in the end of my poem, I say, I wonder. I'll bring it sometime. But this is the thing. President Obama was given, I'm glad Cecil Tyson got one. Listen, let me explain something to y'all. I'm not mad about none of this stuff. I'm just saying, what effect does that have in terms of us here in America? I mean, I bring this all the time for people to see too. That's another reason I bring this. Let me put them on the prompter too. I don't know what I'm thinking. I bring this because that's exactly what happens to people on the prompter here. Eventually, sooner or later, that's what happened to us at first when we got here. We were lynched. And I bring this with me. I have it all the time. So let me see. But anyway, he gave him the Medal of Freedom Award, and I brought this medal here with me today because this is Africa, right here. See, this is my Medal of Freedom Award, right here, Africa. Maybe I can put it on the prompter too. Let me see, can I get it over there by the statue? Maybe can I get it over there? If they can go back and get it. No, there it is. Now, see, mine's leather with red, black, and green colors in it, and a gold lion in the middle. That's my freedom from that represents Africa. So I don't know what all the other ones he gave him got on there. I don't know. But I just thought, we have to have something to represent us. We all aren't going to get a Freedom Award from the president, especially me. You understand? So I'm just saying, we have to do these things for ourselves. We cannot sit back and wait and let people do stuff for us and dictate to us. Speaking of dictators, we know we lost Castro. Everybody's doing all this talking about this and that. And I mean, hey, I know how some of the people may have felt who had to run from there for their safety. Same way black people felt when they had to run from slavery too. So we have that in common. But that really has nothing to do with us. It really hasn't. You see? So I'm just saying, speaking of dictating something, that's why I don't want to waste all my time with that. But look, that's the thing. We got to be prepared. We got to know what affects us, what doesn't affect us. We got to, some of us don't even have weapons to protect ourselves. And because we gave them away for Fred Meyer gift certificates and board games and some old silly stuff. Well, that took away your power. So, bye. You see? That's what's going to happen. And like I said, we're not prepared. In my notes here, this is something that's very important for us. I'm gonna get over into the donor program and stuff. I haven't forgot about that. But let me tell you, if there's a disaster right here, right now, people, especially people who look like me, we ain't even got a plan. We're gonna be looking for somebody to come help us. Now the same thing happened with Katrina, which we all should have learned from that. But what are we doing? Oh, we getting our party on. We doing this and doing that. We're not even prepared. Some of us don't even have a bottle of water. See, that I didn't bring it for that. I bought the drink. But since I have it, let me show it to you. Some of us don't even have a bottle of water. So I'm just, let me move that back so you can get to America. That's what happens to black people right there when they try to make a way in America. Usually they get not just hung. A lot of them are in jail for, years. And this is what I found out. Some people have been in jail that haven't even had an arraignment. I'm thinking, huh? Listen, I'm not a lawyer. I keep telling people that. I'm doing the best I can to try to get some people to try to help do something. These flags right here, this is the Congo. This is the Congo new flag. This here is the, this is the Congo new flag right here. That's the new flag. This here is the African American flag, red, black, and green, like I have on here, right here. And this here is the state of Oregon flag, right there. So see, we got to somehow or another put all of our wits together to do what? Have some way for us to survive and still exist. A lot of us, like I said, we're too busy getting our. When Katrina hit, a lot of us got. Let me put it like that. If that happens right here in Portland, Oregon, which is where we are right now, we're going to wait for somebody to come pick us up on a bus or something. You better start to get your plan together right now. And this is what, listen, like I said, people don't listen to nothing I'm saying. A lot of you aren't paying attention. When that happens, you're going to be wishing though that you did. You better try to have you an emergency kit, some water, some plans. Some people are going to come in and try to tell you what you can have. You better try to do this stuff for yourself. That's what I got down here. Black lives do matter. You understand me? And if shame on you if you don't do what you got to do to preserve your own. That's what I got to say to that. There's so much stuff going on, and that usually comes by surprise. A bad disaster, a storm of any kind, or some type of disaster that we can't deal with. Be prepared. Make sure you are, because if you don't, then you can't expect nobody else to come along and help you. I'm not trying to babysit people and stuff like that. I got that in my notes too. But what I do know is that we got to support and take care of each other. And that's what I call myself doing. My folks came here from the South to the North, so we did get better educations, and we would be away from certain things that they didn't want us to be exposed to. We still got exposed to them, though. So it does goes to show. It follows you wherever you go. You might be okay for a little while there, but then all of a sudden, here it comes. Plain racism, bias, hatred, bigotry, prejudice, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it's better schools up here, but still, that evil exists. And some of you think about this too. Well, I don't know what you're going to think about, and don't get me to telling you nothing, because some of you ain't paying attention now, no way. But if you spell evil, E-V-I-L, that's how you spell evil for some of you who don't know that, then put a D in front of that. And you see what you get? Devil. So it's not too hard to figure out, you see? That's how close it is. And that's what follows you. That's what shows up every time when you think everything is going well. That's what comes right to your door. I got this thing here that says African American dream. Well, if there was such a thing for us, it's not no more, because they're taking our homes. So what is the American dream? Well, that would be the white America that I think is going to be made great again, which doesn't include people who look like me. And that's sad to say, but that's a reality. And like I said, a lot of people have lost their homes, especially older people who don't have the money to keep up with things. Ain't no shame in that. That's the way it is. All that should be free. Let me tell you something. This is what they've done. They've sectioned out all this here world, put a little closet here, a little room there, a little whatever, and charging you so much a month for you to be there. That's usually called an apartment. But not only that, it could even be a house. But that's what they've done. They've figured out everything geographically with dynamics and stuff, all this here stuff where everything has a value to them.
That's what they've done with this earth and with this world. They even telling Indians where they can fish and where they can't. They was here first. Listen, that's how this program first got started. Like I was gonna say, and I'm glad that it came right back to me too. Show me, we have Indian in our family. I always say Indian, but still people know what I mean. We have that in our family. Show me one to sit down and have Thanksgiving with a white man. I'd just like to see that one time, and then I'll shut up. Show me one Indian to sit down and have Thanksgiving with them. No, they didn't, because they came, they were sick, had smallpox, as we know. They made them well. After that, they pillaged their village, raped their women, took all their stuff, and now took America. That's how black people came here in the first place, to help build it. So not to give you a thumbnail sketch of history, but to go back and just to bring that up too. That's what this is all about. And we still they've been trying to get justice, because like I said, they got us divided geographically. All this stuff is going on. They got them on reservations, okay? They got their 10 and 12 to a teepee or whatever. I don't know. But listen, even with people, families buy homes, then they end up losing them. Now they all got to move in with at grandmas or something, 4 and 5 generations. All this here is to make room for who? You know who. I don't like none of it. And I'm going to tell you, all that's going to change. It's going to, you'll be surprised. Don't worry about what I know. I'm just telling you, you better have your water, for one thing, and everything else that you may need. This is what they've done. And they're charging you for every inch of space, every piece of land. That's as long as they get some income coming in for that. Now, number one, God provided water. That's free. God provided sunshine. That's free. God provided air. That's free. All this stuff God provided for us, and we need to learn how to appreciate those blessings and take advantage of them. And true, if we don't, a lot of time we'd be homeless, we'd be outdoors. A lot of this stuff happens to us. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of us, we can't keep up because we don't have the money, and we feel ashamed about that. No, I'm going to tell you, listen, as long as I'm sitting here, there's nothing to be ashamed about. And like I said, we as people have got to learn to support each other, to stick together, to try to do the best we can, so that we do survive, and our culture, our race, and people survive. That's what I'm here for. I see Apostle Cecil return now too. It must be getting time. I can't see the clock, but I know it's probably winding down. But I do want to read just one thing here, which it's been in my family for a long time, and that's because my mother, father, like I said, my grandfather was a Baptist preacher, Avenue Baptist.
Because we about out of
Okay.
time.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He make me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Just wanted to say
Amen.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm glad you read that. That's wonderful.
Appreciate it.
And what I'm doing is that I got Brother King J here today, and hopefully maybe you'll be able to come back maybe next week, because he has a lot of information that he wants to get out to you all out there in TV land, and hopefully you're absorbing that information and taking heed to all that valuable information. And there's certain things that you can do, like he was talking about the education of black people. In 2016, right now, they have black people that are going to school right now in grade school. They had a young black girl about 16 years old, and the white police officer slammed her to the ground. In fact, the title was called Slam, and that what he had did was flipped her in a chair upside down, could have broke her shoulder, her neck, or whatever, because he was acting like a policeman, like he was dealing with a regular criminal. But if that's someone's child, and if their parents would have been there, they probably would have killed him or offed him or had someone kill him or be glad he got killed. But you got a lot of black people who stand back and think, well, he's our coach and we see a lot of good in him, and maybe she was doing something wrong that got her behind kicked, but she wasn't doing anything wrong. She was on her phone, and she doesn't live with her parents, and for whatever, she's a foster care child, and the police officer took her and slammed her, and then everybody was trying to make it lightweight conversation. And when people are on television, just like I'm on, and Brother King J is on television, we can get as bold as we want to, or as lightweight as we want to. But the fact of the matter is, she's just a child, 16 years old, and getting stumped out by this grown man, about 300 pounds, slamming her to the ground, and they fired him from the police station or from his job. But those are just like things that people, black people were coming like, oh, we want him back. And they were having rah, rah, rah because they didn't see it. They're not really weren't aware of it. And you have a lot of people that will quickly come to this police officer's aid because they like him because he's helping them in sports and hopefully trying to further their being. But putting police officers in school and with that attitude, zero tolerance, that is a way of taking advantage of black people and making us worse off and worse off because we're getting us for chewing gum, doing weak things, not like white kids coming to school and breaking windows out or doing horrible things or killing up a classroom of students and things of this nature. That's why the police would be there because they need to have a function. And so maybe if you're trying to keep a law and order in order to save human life, that's fine. But just to be going and someone called him to the classroom because she's on her telephone. I don't know who she was talking to or how important or unimportant the conversation was, but she wouldn't leave the classroom. But who would want to leave the classroom and walk somewhere off by herself with this police officer? And he's known for slam. That's his title, slam. And then he demonstrated his title by slamming her to the ground, flipped her chair upside down, and she hit the ground, and she was injured. And the police fired him, but he needed to be fired. I can't see you out there, Brother Ron. 5 minutes? Okay, great. Thank you, Brother Ron. So I'm just happy that information is got out there to all you people. And then when I study a lot of these documentaries, 80-some% of black people that be going to school, they're going to school and about to graduate from school, and he's saying we don't have no books. And when they give us books, they give us instead of giving us books, they give us paper to copy off the board or information to copy off the board, and everybody gets a sheet of paper and to have to copy the information down and then write a report on the information they took it down off the board. And that just showed the deliberate indifference because when it comes to Negro, colored, black, African Americans, they are still not getting the kind of education. I'm well aware of that because I wasn't getting the kind of education. Went to the same school, but played out of pocket because it's deliberate indifference. And then they try and, when we go to jail, they try and get you to get a GED, which is all a scam, especially if you already graduated from school with F's and D's and all that other crap, and they continue to move you on into whatever grade when you graduated. But the sad part about it is that white kids, when they go to school, they get a great education, or when they start being around people, poor people like ourselves, or black people, or Negro, colored, black, African American, they more or less kind of like, let's try and be as liberal as them, but then they start trying to, people promoting drugs, and they start using drugs, but they use it to where they get to a point where they're insane, they're killing their brothers and sisters, mother, father, sister, and brothers because they're more dope, and so they're just breaking in and doing horrible things, hideous things, or some people are mentally imbalanced because they're doing evil things. I'm just saying that could be black or white, it don't make no difference, but white people did a lot of evil things, and they still are doing a lot of evil things. And when Trump got the title of president, and then as a brother over here, Brother Jay was saying, they're saying hail Trump. That was just a way of trying to say we are practicing Hitler's ways and actions, and we're all, let's roll things back, and this is trying to make this white America. There's a ton of white people that ain't going along with that silly, stupid, retarded, backwards thinking. This is America, and this is for everybody. The reason why I speak about Negro, colored, black, African American, because we have a long ways going. As we talking about, we need to sue these people and get reparation and all that other stuff, and not like in the old days our parents was, don't worry about it. And then people made a joke about, all they're gonna do is be smoking dope, drinking liquor, buying cigarettes, and doing all kind of satanical stuff. But that isn't the real reality. But people put that information out there because there's ways that white people laugh about it, think it's a joke, and black people laugh about it, think it's a joke, because it seems like everything is funny as a joke when you get in the line is kicked out of your drawers. But you need to learn to understand, you need to stand up for right and get the money, and know that if I were to be awarded any form of money, I'll be trying to do what's right with the money and for helping other people do what's right and to push them forward. There are many things that I own and I still have, and I never liquidated them because I just needed money or desperate for money or just trying to change my behavior. I'm trying to continue to pass things on to my children and my grandchildren, everybody else. But I have to be generating revenue, and the system is always trying to work against me to try and put me in prison, put me in jail, and try and break my spirit, and think that maybe if they lock me up or put me in jail, that my spirit be broken and I start drinking, smoking, and getting loaded and doing crazy things like that. But I don't. And I suggest to all you people out there in TV land, you don't do it. You get your lives together, do what's right, play to win, stay strong, trust God Almighty, and trust the spirit that exists within you that will move you forward. Not these clowns acting like they're trying to tell you that we can heal you from drugs and heal you from this, and we'll just pray about it, all that crap. I'm not with all of that. I'm just with that if it's coming from someone's heart, I can feel that spirit, and my spirit will identify that spirit, and I'll feel it in my emotions, and I'll move with that spirit. But I'm not trying to deal with he ascended into heaven and all this stuff. A lot of white people put those white titles on it and trying to let black people know you're subservient to us, and that's how we see you. And when you buy into that conversation, people have did all this forever, trying to act like black people never came from Africa and we weren't the first people. People have did that brainwashing. That's what he's talking about on his board there, is letting people know it's brainwash, it's scams. But pay attention, be strong, and trust God Almighty. And don't be running around with your drawers around your ankle thinking that I'm trying to get me a good man, a man running around with his drawers around his ankle trying to think he's trying to get a good woman. Because if the flesh is willing, but the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And understand that the spirit is willing to do what's right, and especially if the spirit exists within you, but the flesh is weak. And when people start throwing these idiotic, silly ass games at you, don't be caught up in that scam or playing those silly, willy gas happy games, because God Almighty is trying to lead you in the right direction. And so, go ahead, brother. If you have something more to say, go ahead.
Well, I didn't know if the teleprompter was off, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be on. I did bring the badge from slavery that they have from South Carolina.